Halifax Oasis. We are interviewing Mr. Jeff Oates today, who is a Board of Supervisor-elect. Is that the proper term?
I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the aftermath of the election, the vision for the future, and anything he's encountered along the way as he transitions into this position in January. How are you?
Very well.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Having me.
Yeah. All right. So first, tell me how you felt immediately after the election.
Somewhat overwhelmed, but thankful.
Yeah, yeah. Did you expect to win by the amount you did win by?
I had hoped it would be more than that, but
Yeah.
I was tickled, very, very much so.
Yeah. So a little disappointed it wasn't a full landslide.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I could have mentioned that, but the point is you won. Yeah, that's great. So what was your first order of business? What is the first thing you did related to the position after you won?
Wow. Almost immediately, I started thinking about a plan of action.
Okay.
Because, as I said before, we're many steps behind where we should be. And catching up is a difficult task. And we have a lot of catching up to do.
So if you could summarize your plan of action, because I know realistically it's too broad to discuss and would take hours probably.
It would.
But give me a short version of what you see as an immediate priority or immediate restructuring or whatever it is.
Well, the first meeting will be an organizational meeting to elect the chairman and vice chairman, and then go from there.
Do you think the chairman's position is going to change?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you tell me any more?
I swear you to an oath of secrecy. No, I think Chairman Claiborne has served the county as chairman reasonably well, and it's time for new blood. And the composition of the board has changed dramatically with the loss of Sammy Brandon, who held the vice chairman's position. So just from attrition, you have to have another vice chairman. But we need to change directions. And the time has come for either a new person or an older person on the board with seniority to take over the reins. And that should happen immediately.
Okay, so the first meeting is January the 1st.
It's Monday evening, tomorrow.
But you're not in until January.
I'm sorry. Yeah, January.
Yeah,
January
so
5th or 6th.
Yeah, the first
Monday in January.
Monday evening.
I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's because I was thinking earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a meeting Monday. I want to try to cover it. Even though the live streaming is good to help me, so I don't have to be everywhere. You still can't be here in person because you can talk to other people. So anyway, all right, we'll have the first meeting the first Monday of January, and that will entail definitely of an organizational meeting, which will be closed door, closed session.
I don't think so. I think it's an open session.
So does somebody nominate somebody to be chair,
Yes.
and all that's in the public?
Yes.
Ooh, y'all be sure to come to the January meeting.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be there in person for that one. I don't want to watch that live stream. I want to be there. Okay, and what else will you take care of other than the organizational meeting?
Okay, then the chairman would move forward with committee assignments. And there's been some conversation about restructuring the committees. Mm-hmm. We have quite a few, and there may be a way to narrow the field of committees down and enable more people to have input on committees from the board side. I think the Airport Commission has one supervisor, and the Airport Recreation has one supervisor. And every committee is an important committee if it's handled properly. Any organization that has committees needs to have the right amount of people assigned to it and people that have interest in that particular function of the committee. So you get job done, work accomplished. And I think we missed that to a certain extent. And we need to focus a little bit better on that, particularly we've got to think about revenue. We've got to think about budget. There's a myriad of things that have to be addressed pretty quickly. Probably one of the more important things that we need to do is find a director of finance.
Okay, let me stop you there before we move forward into staffing and those issues. I want to back up to committees. Now, as it stands now, I think there's 15 or 16. Will any of those be eliminated and new ones created, or are you going to stand with what's there?
Well, I think one of the committees is defunct already. The Henrietta Lacks Committee. I think that has been dissolved, even though it shows up on the committee assignments.
Right.
So that will go away.
So the first thing would be to assess actually what the committees are they functional? Is there a hole we need to fill with the different?
Yes, and
Okay.
if several can be combined
Right.
to lessen the overall 16 count that we
And
have.
then is the goal to have 1 or 2 commissioners on each committee, and then they choose who's on it, or does the chairman do all of that?
Well, this is somewhat of a point of contention, but I don't think necessarily so. I think any chairman should ask of the supervisors their preferences for committees. I wouldn't like to serve on a committee that I had no interest in and felt like I was forced to sit on that committee. It'll be a difficult task. It won't be something that could happen overnight. But you need to put some thought into it so that if you have someone that has a particular interest in fire and EMS, which would be me, why would you put me on the airport commission in that committee as opposed to fire? Because I have knowledge. I have 22 years of knowledge of it.
Right.
So it's important to place people where they can do the most good for the community. By being punitive in your placement of people, you serve no purpose. It's counterproductive, to be honest with you. So the chairman needs to ask of the supervisors, what are your particular interests in the committees? And hopefully someone will have interest in all of the committees so we can spread the duties and responsibilities out equally.
Now, how are you going to watch out for conflict of interest? Let's say I've got a huge farm and want a solar panel, so I want to be on the solar committee.
Well, you have to avoid that for that very reason.
How?
Well, if you were on the board of supervisors and you said I want to be on the solar farm, on the solar committee, and you acknowledged that you had interest in it because you own land, I'd say, no, Lisa, that prohibits you from being on that committee. With all due respect, I'm not going to put you on a committee that you may not be able to vote on an issue because you have a conflict of interest.
So there will be some type of checks and balances, and will it be public? Will the committees be publicly announced? Or?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, excellent. So let's move on to the next thing you're talking about as far as priority. We're talking staffing gaps. So we're in desperate need of a financial director.
Yeah, director of finance is the official title. We have an interim finance director who had worn 2 hats for a while until Ron Brady retired. And that position, it's past vital to the county. You can't do it without it. And it has to be someone with experience and hopefully a love of county that will be devoted to the job. You can't. That's something that can't be a cursory application of your expertise.
There's an ad out now for that position,
It is.
right?
It is.
And I'm assuming applications are coming in.
They have.
Okay, you're going to obviously wait until after January for that position.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to see the black.
And finding a person with experience in government finance, particularly at a local level, is probably going to be harder than anybody realizes to find the right person.
So when
I have preferences.
well, have some qualified people apply?
I'm not privy to.
Oh, you don't know anything. Oh, that's right. You wouldn't know
The
anything. Yet.
particulars
You
of
won't know
that.
anything until January. Okay, gotcha. What else have you done in the interim to prepare for the positions?
Well,
You've made a plan of action. You've thought a lot about it. What else?
well, in the campaign, I spoke with constituents and strangers, nonetheless, and everybody has an idea of what this district needs and what the county needs. So I have a short list of things that need attention from a district perspective.
Let's talk about those. Let's talk about district.
Okay, I had a gentleman call me and asked if I would come and see him, and I did. And he has a problem with an intersection in his neighborhood that is dangerous to the public from a traffic perspective. And he said that he had tried to get something done about it previously, and it fell on deaf ears. And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk to the resident engineer from VDOT about getting it on at least a long-range priority list of fixes in my district. And there are things like that people didn't confide in me, but they weren't aggravated, but they were frustrated that things weren't getting done that could be beneficial in the long run. The intersection that this gentleman spoke of is Chatham Road and Meadville Road, and it's a standard T intersection. And when traffic comes from the south going north on Chatham Road and makes the turn on the Meadville Road, it's an incline. And if they're on a big truck, which logging trucks are frequently up and down the road, the traffic that's at the stop sign, they have to back all the way down the road so that the truck can make the wide turn coming into Meadville Road. So it's a traffic hazard for the cars behind the logging truck. It's a traffic hazard for the person backing down the road. And it's a traffic hazard for oncoming traffic because the truck has to swing out. So something's got to be done about that at some point in time. And I realize that there are multiple projects as far as GDOT goes. So that's.
So what I'm hearing you say is that what you've been doing to prepare for this from a district level is listen to constituents and kind of start making a checklist of things that need to be taken care of. All right, let's move on to countywide now.
Countywide, housing, workforce training, all the things that
have you reached out to anyone yet to discuss this?
Well, very limited because I have no power or authority right now. I'm just.
Well, of course not.
I've been provided some courtesies. People have listened to me on the board about things that we need to do. And I think the consensus of opinion is we all have the same things on the agenda. We have targeted things that we need to address. But financially, can we afford a lot of it? The radio system for fire, EMS, law enforcement is going to be a big hit. It's going to be expensive. We actually did a disservice to ourselves 5 years ago buying the system that we currently have. And knowing it's deficient, I don't know that it can be repaired as opposed to being replaced. I think there's been some conversation that there's certain things that can be done that may accentuate what we have. But I think in the long run, that's not going to pay dividends for the user groups.
So this circles right back to generating revenue.
Yes.
Any ideas on that yet, or still just stewing on it?
Well, I stew on it every day. And ideas, everybody wants the taxes paid, but everybody wants services. And you can't have both. To have fire, rescue, law enforcement, garbage collection, all of that takes tax revenue.
Yes, but there's also business revenue.
Sure it is.
Data
Tool
centers,
taxes.
solar farms, hemp
Oh
farms.
yes. Well, nobody likes the thought of a data center. Pennsylvania County and Campbell County are both moving in that direction again. Campbell County probably multiple sites.
Right.
Pennsylvania County had a 2,000 acre site, and now they're looking at a 900 acre site. It takes a lot of infrastructure, power and water. I think we could probably selectively find places to accomplish that. But I wonder about the people that are going to kick and scream all the way to the bank about what a data center at hundreds of acres.
But that's one of many ideas.
Yeah, it is.
Have you thought outside of the box for some maybe unique?
Oh, I thought the hemp farm thing was something that came up.
That's an excellent idea.
Well, years ago, so many years ago, we had a gentleman, Richard Gregory, I can't remember the guy's name, they started that process. They were having a processing plant for hemp, and it never took off. And maybe we need to revisit it. I mean, we have some big farmers in the county, and that's about all we have now, big farmers, and not many small farmers. So if that's something that appeals to them, I don't think the community would fight it one bit. But is there a market for it? And that's the thing. A farmer has to have, I would think it takes some specialized equipment to deal with hemp. And then the processing is another level of equipment that you have to process it. But it's a thought.
Recently, I had an interview with Mr. Wade, the new county administrator, and we talked about county issues such as housing and whatnot. But it was interesting that he brought up some internal issues. One was networking with other counties and finding best practices and what's good for them. I'm sure you thought about that.
I have. And that goes back to the communication system. We need a communication system that has interoperability with the neighboring counties. And what we have now doesn't offer that. We had one county that we could talk to, Mecklenburg, and I think they have since gone to a better system. Of course, they have a data center. But everybody around us is, to a certain extent, is in the same boat. How do we, as a rural region of the state, how can we be competitive with the national, if not just the East Coast, in drawing new industry if we don't have something unique to get them here?
But also maintaining the rural identity.
Sure, absolutely. And then there's a level of competition county to county. Charlotte County is probably poorer than we are in many respects, but they're rich and rural. They have farmland, and of course they have solar farms. But being competitive with our neighbors, but at the same time working with them regionally is the way to go. And that takes, that's a disadvantage that Ron has, but he's a quick learner. So he has already started reaching out to people to bounce things off of them to see if it's something that might happen to Halifax County. And he's an asset. And I told him the other day when I met with him, don't quit. That's one thing that I worry about is that he will be so overwhelmed by the volume of things that confront him that he may want to walk away from it. And I don't want him to do that because, first of all, he's a native of Halifax County. So I know his heart is in it, but that job is immense. The other day, he was told how many committees he serves on, regional committees and boards, 10 or 12 now. I probably would have quit at that moment. I would say, that's it, I've had enough.
Part of our discussion, which would be some good foundational support programs about staffing, it blew me away when the time there was no dedicated HR person. So that's one part. The other one about doing the public with the community engagement manager. Because that's something that would alleviate a lot of pressure off everybody and not making any mistakes moving forward. But again, we mentioned where's the budget to fund to more full-time positions.
Well, some of some of those duties and responsibilities fell on people that are no longer with the county that were here 6, 8 months ago. And getting those people back is probably an insurmountable task. I'd love to have that happen. Some of those positions have been filled already. Director of Finance hasn't been filled. And I have a person in mind for that position, but I don't know that I can convince her to come back.
And you have to go through the proper channels
Sure
of advertising, taking all your
and the
applications.
advertising is already in place.
Okay, but going through and doing
yeah.
it properly, no pre-selection.
Well, I can't tell you what I want to tell you about that. But when you lose a person who had 18 years of experience, who knew all the nuances of the job, and was a bona fide asset to the county administrator, and you lose that person and you replace them with nothing, you've got a hole. And it's getting deep. And he's got to have some relief. And the Virginia Association of Counties is an organization that we pay into for resources. They haven't delivered.
Oh, why not?
I think statewide there are probably 6 or more directors of finance vacancies, and not enough retired people to plug the holes. And some want more money than others, and our budget is already maxed out, and it is what it is.
Okay.
Difficult.
Well, we're about out of time. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share with us?
I want the community to be patient.
That's a good message to put out.
Be actively involved. Come to the meetings. We're going to try to make some changes in how the meetings are configured. I want to be responsive to the public when they bring something to the board. When you have a chance for public comment, I don't want to sit up there and not say anything if saying something is appropriate.
That's something Mr. Brady and I discussed too when it came up about a community relations person. Because I've been in meetings and seen someone ask a question, and the next thing said is, "Your time's up." Next, it wasn't even acknowledged. Not feeling heard is one of the most insulting things to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I think individually, board members should do that. And I don't know anything that prohibits them from doing that. An exchange of ideas helps everybody. And not exchanging is hurtful to the individuals. And I know sometimes people say stuff to me, and you've heard some of it, one in particular, and I'd like to correct him on some things in January, may or may not. But you have, if you want the county to work for everybody, you have to let everybody work for the county. That's what I hope to do.
I appreciate your time. Stay tuned for the next episode. See you later.